Samba Salama Isolale. Samba Salama to the old house of Isolale. Benabetu, the Bakongo people scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. We give honor and Kimbo to TATA NZAMBE Yamazulu. We honor him and give him glory. Give him all the Kimbo for all his bilakas, his bilaka. This is a tough message today. So inspiration comes to me different ways. It's tough because it's really hard for me to express and explain how serious this message is, and to give proper understanding and clarity of where we live, because I'm not perfected, and far as my perspective is concerned, I am far from it, far from being perfected in the Most High. But my life experience in the Most High is super vital, because the things I've gone through, things I experienced, it helps me in my older age to be able to help others to understand the Most High, to understand and walk in his commandments. And when I say commandments, I just don't mean the 10. Many have a misconception that the 10 commandments is separate from the law of the Most High. It is not. The 10 commandments is the law of the Most High, and the law of the Most High is the 10 commandments. It's the 10 commandments is a breakdown of all the law of the Most High. Now, you'll never hear me say there's 613 laws or 600 whatever. That's a lie. I've looked at those, how they break them down, and it's like a Catholic version of the law of the Most High, where certain things repeats itself as you go through the list to get 613. That's falsehood. Anyway, we're going to be talking about what spirit are you listening to? What spirit is guiding you? What spirit has your attention, and what spirit motivates you? Excuse me. So one experience I had this week, is me and my wife and my household are striving to do better concerning our health and our vitality and everything in our bodies. Because your physical body houses the spirit of the Moanda, the spirit of TATA NZAMBE. And in order for you to move about and to do the work of the Most High, you got to be healthy. You just can't be what they would say a couch potato. Now, I admit I've been a couch potato, and sometimes I still am, but I'm slowly working myself into getting more fit, eating better. So with that, this week I heard a very something that I thought I'd never hear, that apples are not as healthy as they claim. And before I could actually do research on it, I went to bed, and I was going to talk about it with my wife before I went to bed, but it slipped my mind. I went to sleep, and early in the morning, probably like about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, the spirit of the Most High in my sleep. I was kind of like in between sleep and awake, and instructed me to stop drinking coffee. This has never happened to me before. Stop drinking coffee. And so the as we both woke up, I went to work out. No, before I went to work out, uh, I she was in the restroom for a minute. She came out, and I said, um, you know what I heard the other day? I said, I heard that apples is not as healthy as they're supposed to be, that they have the acid content is more than in an orange. And she was like, just got finished reading that. I just got finished reading that. And I was like, wow. And I said, it came to me to stop drinking coffee. And before I said that, as I was getting ready to leave, it's in my mind spoke, it's not the caffeine, it's the acid content in the coffee. And so I said, so when I said, it came to me to stop drinking coffee, she said, I said, it's not the acid. I mean, it's not the caffeine, it's the acid. She goes, I just got through reading that. How much? I mean, coffee is extremely acidic. So this is an example how the Moanda NZAMBE works at times, is that the Moanda NZAMBE is an instructor in righteousness and all things pleasing to Yakongo. So it is vitally important for us to understand that we have an enemy that's a spirit. We have a creator that's a spirit. And because our enemy is forever trying to destroy us, he will twist and do everything in his power, using men and women in this world and his army of demon spirits to deceive, manipulate, all these things, distract. That's one of the biggest ones, to get us away and get us to if we're not striving to walk in the path of the Most High, to keep us where we are, to keep us stagnant where we are, just mocking time, just standing in place and just going about like on a hamster wheel. And I was saying to myself the other day, man, back on this daggum hamster wheel, life is such a hamster wheel. What do I mean by that? You're like running on a treadmill. You're walking and running on a treadmill. Anybody that's ever been to a gym, they got treadmills all over the place. You're not going anywhere, but your legs are moving, but you're not going anywhere. The Mwanda Semi is always going to cause you to grow in every aspect of life. Your mental health, number one, your spiritual health, those two go together. Your mental health and your spiritual health go together. And your physical health. Everything that makes you, he is there to cause you to grow and getting closer to the Most High. As you get closer to the Most High, your demeanor changes, your thought patterns change. Everything in your life has to gradually or exponentially change. Expediently, either gradually or expediently or quickly. Okay. So it is important to understand these different aspects of the Mwanda Semi. Mwanda Velala. All right. So I'm going to share my screen, and to expedite time, I did not pre-open the scriptures. All right. Okay. All right. So, excuse me. First scripture I got. Going to jump. Yohanan. I don't know how to say it in Kigongo. That's another thing. I'm not a very studious person when it comes to learning language. I'm not a linguistics expert. Some things takes me a little longer than the average person, maybe. But doesn't mean I don't have the desire to learn. I was never a studious person in school. I hated, I really hated school, but I loved the word of the Most High. And no, this is not coffee. No, this is not coffee. This is tea that I made yesterday. And I thought I had some ginger and turmeric juice in my freezer. and took it out and thawed a little bit out and added some to my tea. It was turmeric and chai tea that I made yesterday. So when something like that happens to me, it's like, so this is a process of, let me go back to stop sharing for a second. This is a process of learning the voice of the Most High. Because we've been in the land of deception so long, and we have all the, I mean, just, so I was listening to Mikhail Masa this week, and he had a couple of messages. One of them was talking about 80% of the world is under witchcraft or is witches. And to my understanding is that 80% of the world is demonically influenced. Either you are under a spell or you're spell casting. And those that, some people are under spell and don't know it. Some people are on the verge of coming out of different spells. 20% would be those that are aware that, but they may have different shortcomings in life that they're in the process of working out by the power of the Most High. But they're not asleep, or they're not spell casting. They're trying to get you out of a spell. Right. So I've always was taught that it takes time. There is a scripture in the New Testament, I think it is New Testament, where it says it takes time to live holy. It takes time to live righteous. But I really see the Most High literally speeding up time. And in the process, like, I'm 58 years old and was always taught that the Most High was going to would shorten the time, because of, if he didn't shorten the time, there was these, it says in the New Testament that no flesh would be saved because of the turmoil and just the wickedness that's going to be taking place. So he said he's going to shorten the time. Now, so the progress of people growing in the Most High is speeding up. So how long it took me to get this point, other people, it's not taking that long. Right? Hope that's understood. So anyway, but to know the voice of the Most High in you as an individual, it takes time. And understanding the do's and don'ts of the Most High, and understanding how important it is to know the law of the Most High. Yes, I know that things have been altered. But the Most High has a way of filtering. He has a way of filtering those things that have been altered and all the deceptions. He has a way of filtering those things out in you. One of the things for me was, in particular, the feast days, right? I did a message on the feast days. I talked, I don't know if extensively, but I've talked about the feast days. The feast days are right. Feast days are to be kept. But how we're keeping them and where we're keeping them is absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. And how we're keeping them, I can't say that we were keeping them right, especially because we ain't supposed to be keeping them where we're keeping them. We are supposed to be all together as a people keeping the feast days. My mom still keeps the feast days. And it troubles her because she knows I keep the Sabbath. She knows I'm still striving to walk in the ways of the Most High, and it troubles her. But the understanding and of what the Most High has showed me, I could sit down and explain it to her. But if the Most High does not open her mind, my mom is 84 years old. Doesn't mean the Most High can't change her mind, but I've never seen somebody that old that's been set in their ways for so long. Yeah. Anyway, that's one example of filtering, is what I mean. Filtering. So being guided in the word and the Most High revealing, giving understanding of who we are is paramount. Okay. Understanding who we really are and who they are not, right? And that their land is not the land that they stole is not the land of Scripture, the land that floweth with milk and honey. That is paramount to understand. Also, it's paramount to understand time, that the continent has, even in the continent, it's so large, several different time zones, more than United States. The seasons may vary a little bit within a month or two, but all these things are very paramount to understand, that we're not supposed to be keeping the feast days in the land of our captivity, because the feast days were a time of great rejoicing, great rejoicing. And it's understandable to me now why I really had this deep-seated hate every time the feast days came around. And I like, I, for many years, I could not understand, why do I mean, this deep-seated hate. So this goes to kind of explain the spirits, right? And the difference between keeping the spirit of the law, which is how we're supposed to be living, keeping the spirit of the law and not the letter, where it says, Isaiah said that the letter killeth, but the spirit maketh alive. This is what is meant by when somebody says that if you follow the spirit, you listen to the spirit, you're going to keep the commandments, right? The thing with that is you have an enemy that's a spirit. This is why it's important to know what the law says, because the spirit of the Most High is never going to guide you in a direction that goes against what the written law is, right? And for me, growing up, understanding that the feast days in particular is according to the word of the Most High. So why am I feeling this way? Well, when you do research on the feast days, and there's one place where the Most High, I think it says in Isaiah, that talks about how he hated their feast. He hated their feast, like that, just to make simple. The reason why he hated their feast because they were corrupting what he had stated, what he had given them, and it made his feast unrecognizable to him, where they was doing all this celebration, but they was not doing it according to what he said. They was letting people do things that had no right to do things. I mean, all kinds. They began to enter into abominations, all these different things. And he said it was a stink in his nostrils, right? I believe and I understand that that's what I was feeling. It was not just a feeling, it was a presence, so to speak, right? So in time, the Most High gave me the understanding of the do's and don'ts of his feast days, pertaining to where we keep them at. And where we keep them at is paramount because all of Scripture is centrally located. I said this time and time again. All of Scripture is centrally located. Where he spoke to his people, where he guided his people to, centrally located. And where he placed his name is the same central location, not anywhere else in the world. He said, this is where I place my name, is where you keep my feast days. And the whole congregation of Isolale is supposed to be together and keep them all together. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he's saying. Okay, so back to share screen. All right. I talking a little bit more than I normally do. uh pre scriptures. Okay, here we go. So there's something else that I was supposed to talk about a lesson I did last week. I can't remember how I wanted to explain it. But so this kind of has to do, it's like the last two messages is they're sequencing to this one. And I don't know what's coming next week. I have no idea what's coming next week. Yah willing, there's a next week. But one of the main things that we need to understand about the Most High is that he created male and female. And each one has their special characteristics that is for them, that they possess. And the male and female is supposed to fit together like a finely meshed gear, like two gears coming together in a mechanism to run a machine. Now, being a machinist, some people may not understand this, but like if you're ever able to look at you got access to internet, you can find things like this. When you each gear has a number of teeth, right? Like on a bicycle, it's like the chain of a bicycle has to have so many different links, right? And the gear on the bicycle has to have so many teeth to match the links in the chain. And the smaller gear has to have a certain amount to match the gear ratio, or the links in the chain, to be able to run smoothly, right? So two gears can't have the same number of teeth. I think that's how it works. So anyway, in order for humanity to work properly, function properly, a male has to have male characteristics and do things pertaining to a male. A female, in like manner, has to have female characteristics and things that pertain to a female. Those two together it's supposed to work harmoniously to bring up offspring to the Most High, to carry on the ways of the Most High from generation to generation. Now, when the enemy gets in the mix, he wants to confuse things between the male and the female, right? This is where we are today. And this has, I'm pretty sure it has been in ancient times, but something we probably haven't really heard about. But I know several years ago, there's a big thing about this statue. That had the head of a goat had the hands of a man and the torso of a young woman. BALFIMET. I don't want to say that's a spirit. That is a demonic spirit. That is and that is, I don't know if it, well, that's a demon, if not the demon. That spirit is going through the earth, confusing the minds of different individuals to the degree that the United States, different countries are, in particular, where I live in California, making laws that you can't say this, you can't do that. You pretty much can't speak out about it. That this spirit of confusion in men and women, thinking they're the opposite of what they was born. That's demonic. That's nothing but it's demonic. And if anybody says anything different, they're lying. It's demonic 100%. That's the spirit of Satan. Satanic. That's the spirit of Satan. He's what they call androgynous. And this is a huge abomination. This is a spirit that's running rampant in most of the world today. And they're trying to push it on our people on the continent. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. Yohanan 10th chapter, starting at the first verse. Verily I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up another way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep followeth him, for they know his voice. And a stranger they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. Now, I think it was last week, where I talked about how the Most High led our ancestors out of Egypt bondage, right? And the Most High went before them in the daytime as a pillar of cloud, and in the nighttime by a pillar of fire. He led them through the wilderness, or on their journey. Okay. And in Isaiah, I read where it talked about that he would be our rearward. It's spelled REREWARD, rearward. Yeah. Where he not only is guiding us, but he's protecting us. He's our rear guard, but because we don't have eyes in back of our head, we don't know what's trying to come up behind us, but we know always the enemy is always after us, right? So it's important to understand this aspect that we can't fight the enemy like on his turf, put like that. We can fight the enemy, but not on his turf. And it takes the power of the Most High to defeat him, right? Okay, I'm getting off of that because okay, anyway. Okay, moving on. Okay, moving on. Going to 14. Moving down, same chapter, going to 14. I am the good shepherd and know my sheep, and am known of mine. So this is how we know. We're going to see how we know the Most High, how we know Kuswa as the shepherd. His characteristics. We have to know the characteristics of the Messiah and the Most High, because the Messiah carry his characteristics, and we are supposed to have those same characteristics, right? There have been many messiahs, but only one true Messiah that was worthy of the sacrifice. Moses was a Messiah. The prophets or righteous prophets were messiahs, right? This is what we have to understand. When we are in the business of the Most High, trying to deliver our people from bondage, we are as messiahs, okay? But there's only one true Messiah or perfect one that obeyed the Most High 100%. That's Isaiah, whom the world called Jesus. All right. As the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father. For I laid down my life for the sheep, and other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also must I bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. So this goes back to what I was saying about the feast days. You have all these different little churches, even the organization I came from. I told I was talking to my mom. I said, I'm not saying you're not supposed to keep them. We are supposed to keep them, but how keeping them we're not supposed to. We are supposed to keep them all together, and we're supposed to keep them in the place where he chose to place his name. And she didn't understand that All these whatever organization you come from, the headquarters is not where he chose to place his name. He did not place his name anywhere in different places of the world. He put his name in one single place in the earth. That's Congo. That's where he placed his name. That's his name, Yakongo. It's just that simple. But I was just thinking the other day, oh no, talking to my wife, I was showing her I was showing her a picture. I was on the job yesterday. I had to take somebody home, and they lived in the Empire area. And in this place, it's known for having a lot of horses around. So I drove at the end of the block. I had a cul-de-sac. And at the cul-de-sac, it was not like a house. It was not like a normal cul-de-sac. It had like a little ranch, a little style ranch at the end where you couldn't go no further. Anyway, it had camels. And I'm like, camels? I was like, I gotta take a picture of this because ain't nobody gonna believe me. And sure enough, they didn't believe me when I said it, but I took pictures. I showed them pictures. Look, there's camels in the United States, whatever. So anyway, I was talking to my wife yesterday, and I was showing her the camels. And I said, it's really funny because she was telling me how different different churches, well-known churches, used to bring live animals during they bell worship season, and different than she said, there being tigers and lions and all these different animals, and to celebrate their Christmas. So, and I'm like, it's really funny how all these different animals that they see, they talk about lions and camels and all these different animals, that there's no other place in the world that they're indigenous to, and they still can't see. Anyway, still can't see. It took me a while to see. Most High had to open my eyes, and it's just that way that the Most High has to open our minds to everything, pretty much everything, because everything in this world is meant to be a distraction from him, distract us from him. So yeah. And other sheep I have to fold this. And other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Therefore doeth my Father love me, because I laid down my life, that I might take it up again. No man taketh it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. This commandment have I received of my Father. So if you have not researched it, the man Simon Toko, that was born in Portugal, I can't remember the year. Eventually, I went down into Angola and started proclaiming the word of the Most High to the Most High's people. And his fame started going out. His body was chopped up in some kind of farm equipment, and the spirit put him back together. There's pictures of him showing where he has a big scar across his chest, right? A big old scar across his chest. There's testimonies that have been given by some Mundele people. The Most High is real, man. The Most High is real. Simon Toko was also a Messiah. This is the power of the Most High that most of us have never, I have never experienced it. I'm not going to lie. And when I first heard it, that story about Simon Toko, that was a big pill to swallow. But we have to remember that the Messiah prophesied of the works that the apostles and disciples, those that followed him, would possess. Greater works shall ye do, because I go to my Father. Now, in time past, they've tried to minimize what that actually meant by saying, oh, it's not going to be greater, like higher above. It's going to be just in numeration. But that's minimizing the Most High, because the Messiah did whatever the Most High wanted him to do. Now, I am positive everything that the Messiah did is not written, at least from what I know to be, it's not written in the Bible, right? I think he was here much longer than what they say, 33 years, really. So this is another thing. So you got all these different, these different codes. Those are different codes to let you know that the Masons have their hand in rewriting the Bible. And they put all these different numeration codes in there to show people that the connection, and not everybody gets the connection. It takes a little bit. Anyway, there was a division, therefore again among the I'm gonna say, use the word Pharisees for these sayings, and many of them said, he hath a devil and is mad. Why hear ye him? What are you listening to him for? Others said, these are not the words of him that hath a devil. Can a devil open the eyes of the blind? And it was at Salama, the feast of dedication, and it was winter. Don't start me with that. I don't. Anyway. And Isaiah walked in the temple of Solomon's porch, Then came the Pharisees round about him and said unto him, how long doest thou make us to doubt? If thou be the Messiah, tell us plainly. Isaiah answered them, I told you, and ye believe not. The works that I do in my father's name. Now, this is something that we as the people have to understand and get out of this habit. The works that the Messiah did, the Isaiah, Yehoshua, everything he did in his father's name. In his father's name. And you start using that the name of Jesus, that's why ain't nobody being delivered. You're continually casting cursing spells upon people using that name. There's no deliverance in that name. None. And if somebody's seemingly to be delivered, it's a trick of the adversary to deceive you. That's it. My Father's name, they bear witness of me, but ye believe not, because ye are not of my sheep. As I said unto you, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Good morning. That's my daughter coming down, get her tablet and stuff. So we as the sheep and not goats. Goats are hard-headed. Goats are stubborn. Goats are rebellious. Sheep have the characteristics of being humble, submissive, and obedient. Okay. And when there's an enemy in the midst, they have the characteristics to run from it. So I imagine this is like a standing kind of like a joke in entertainment, where anytime there's like something weird or kind of scary, or like there's a threat, if there's a group of black folks around, they gonna run, they gonna scatter. They're gonna scatter like roaches in the dark when they turn on the light. But other people have for some crazy reason, have a characteristics. They're gonna run towards it, the danger, the trouble. We are supposed to run from the enemy, not run to the enemy. Okay. Go to John 18. Let's see. Give me a second. Oh, it's right there. I can never remember. It's right there. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. Sorry. Going to John 18. 37. Okay. Pilate therefore said unto him, Art thou a king then? Isaiah answered, Thou sayest that I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Everyone that is of the truth heareth my voice. The law of the Most High is truth. Now, I've always said that the Sabbath has always been a starting point for people to walk in the truth, to follow, to grow in the ways of the Most High. The starting point, because the Sabbath is the recognition of who the Most High Creator is, right? And to understand that He is the Creator, you have to understand and accept the Sabbath, right? Because it is the only day that He Himself is constantly present on, if you understand what I mean. When He rested on the Sabbath day, His presence remained on that day. That's what makes it holy. His presence in and on that day. No other day has His presence, though we have His presence within us when we follow His directions, right? When we follow His commandments, we have His presence in us. Now, I know too many people, too many organizations that preach the Sabbath. This is where the understanding of keeping the letter of the law falls in place, where a person or a group of people that they keep the Sabbath. I mean, strictly, but you really see no growth in their spiritual life or life itself, because they're not keeping the spirit of the law, they're keeping the letter. They're keeping it according to the flesh, out of tradition and not out of love for the Most High. It's according to their traditions and not according to the love of the Most High. That's why the Isaiah said to the Pharisees, you dishonor the Most High by your traditions. Because the Pharisees had their hand in changing the law, because the Pharisees were Edomites and Grecians and other people mixed in there also. That's why you don't hear nothing about the Pharisees in the law and the prophets and the Psalms. Where did they come from? They took those things out of the law and the prophets. That's why you got to read the book of Maccabees. That's why you got to read the Apocrypha, because nobody ever thinks to ask where the Pharisees come from, because they're running the temple, but it's supposed to be the sons of Aaron, the descendants of Aaron that's running the temple. Nobody asks these questions, right? And they change the Roman Empire changed the Jesuits and all the ones that had their hand in that, changed the different names and all these different things in the Bible, putting the word Jew in the New Testament when we never called ourselves that and they never called us that, and that's not who the Pharisees were. This was the tribe of Yuunde during the time of the separation of the two kingdoms, or the kingdom into two, and the northern kingdom was taken into, had been scattered for the most part, and only Yuunde was left in the land for the most part. Yuunde, tribe of Judah, or the kingdom of Judah. Anyway, truth. Everyone that is of the truth, hear my voice. So paramount to know the law, desire the law, desire to obey the law of the Most High. Desire, I keep saying this, whatever your deepest desire is, it will manifest itself sooner or later. Whatever your deepest desire is, it is going to manifest. So you better figure out what is your true deepest desire in life. Because if it ain't if the things of the Most High, the way being Bantu Bandwe is not your deepest desire, then you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Telling you. All those hundreds, if not thousands of people that I've known that so-called either keep the Sabbath or they go to church, and a lot of them I haven't seen in so many years, but there's no spiritual evidence. One of the key things to understand and to know and to look for is love, or having a sense of humility. Like you having a conversation with somebody, and the Most High had to bring me to this point where having a conversation with somebody, you learn to take the low road. Stop trying to feel like or be the smartest person in the room or the smartest person in the conversation. have a sense of humility about yourself. And if that's not part of what the other person is, then you gotta start, evaluating then, if you understand what I'm getting at. Because I experienced that with somebody, and they always had that really arrogant attitude that they just know far more above everybody else, and they be the wrongest, wrongest two left shoes, as my grandmother would say. If truth is tainted in any shape, form, fashion, it's no more truth. It only takes a very small amount of poison to kill a rat. A very small amount to make something that's edible inedible. Okay. Sorry about that. My notes. Sorry about that. Okay. Moving on. 1 John 4. 1 John 4th chapter. Starting at the first verse. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to read a whole bunch or not. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of Yah, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Hereby know ye the spirit of Yah. Every spirit that confesses that Isaiah Kuswa is come in the flesh is of Yah. Every spirit that confesses not that Isaiah Kuswa is not come in the flesh is not of Yah. And this is the spirit of anti-Messiah, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world. Okay. So there's a lot really there's a lot to unwrap in these three verses. First of all, we have to understand that the spirit is the law and the law is the spirit. We already understand that. So the main characteristic of the law and the spirit is love. Love for the Most High and love for the Most High's people. That's what Isaiah manifest most of all. Not having the spirit of condemnation, but the spirit of mercy and compassion. And when you grow in truth, grow in the spirit, these will begin to manifest. And I'm telling you what I know, not what somebody told me. So you ever have a conversation with my wife, she'll tell you. So Isaiah came in the flesh. Here know ye the spirit of Yah, every spirit that confesses that proclaims that Messiah has come in the flesh is of Yah. Anybody that tells you it don't matter what color the Messiah was, that's anti-Messiah. That's what they say, right? Antichrist. Anybody tell you what does it matter? That's Antichrist. That's the spirit of Baal. That's the spirit of Esau. That's the spirit of Cain. That's a demonic spirit. That's a demonic spirit. Plain and simple. Kuswa was a Bantu. Bakongo. He was a black man from the continent of Africa, to put it plain and simple. And if you don't think that mattered, then why they change his color in the first place? If it didn't matter, if it never mattered, they would not be trying to put themselves in our place. This is why they hate us. Goes back to previous lesson. This is why they hate us, because we are the chosen of the Most High. We are the sons of the Most High. Sons and daughters of the Most High. We carry his image. We are the image bearers of the Most High. That's why they hate us. That's why they hate him. That's why they hate him, because this is what this right here. Maybe not exactly like this, but this is supposed to be Masa. Masa had the spirit of the Most High. Masa bear the image of the Most High. This is why they hate us. This is why they hate Kuswa. Right? Be careful what spirits are you listening to. All these different things that I'm explaining and bringing out, they come forth by spirits. They come forth by spirits. Deuteronomy 4, verse 12. And Yakongo spake unto you out of the midst of the fire. He heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude. Only ye heard a voice. What is he talking about? He's talking about here. Exodus 20. Let me even go back further. In the 3rd month, when the children of Isolale were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. skip that. We already know that. It's not where they're saying it is. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai. See, deception, deception, deception. Deception, deception. The mountain of the Most High is fertile. It's not a desert land. That goes against his characteristics. He will never. You get what I'm saying. His characteristics is in every place where he is, or his abode, where his seat or his footstool, wherever his presence is fertile. And he had pitched in the wilderness, and there is Solalei camp before the mount. Okay. And TATA NZAMBE said unto Masa, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee and believe thee forever. And Masa told the words of the people unto TATA NZAMBE. Right? So this is what that was talking about. And that's where it says in Exodus 20, and Yah spake all these words, saying. This is the essence of what he was saying here, and here. John 10, John 18, John, 1 John 4. This is the essence of what he's saying. And Yah spake all these words, saying, they hear, my sheep hear my voice, and a stranger they will not follow. Any body that is proclaiming that the word of Yah is null and void, they may not use that terminology, but what they manifest in their life, what they choose to obey, what they try to get you to disobey, that's not the spirit of Yah, that's the spirit of Satan. That's a demonic spirit working in that individual. That is not the voice of the Most High. The voice of the Most High proclaims his word, his laws, statutes, and commandments. Proclaim love, compassion, and humility. The manifestations of the fruit of the Spirit. TATA NZAMBE spake out unto you out of the midst of the fire, and ye heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude, only ye heard a voice. And he declared unto you his covenant, his agreement, his stipulations, which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments, and he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone. He spoke it and wrote it. Two witnesses. You heard a voice and you saw the tables when I came down from the mountain that he wrote with his own finger. That's something that cannot be erased. So the act of him writing on the tables of stone is that not only did he speak, and he declared that that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that has proceeded out of the mouth of Yah shall man live. He not only proclaimed that, but he wrote it on tables of stone to declare the unmutability of the Most High, the unchanging of the Most High, that the word that I speak and the word that I write shall never, ever change. And anybody speaking to you that's not according to this word, they are a liar and the truth is not in them. Check that spirit. What spirit are you following? What spirit are you listening to? This is Adama and Ava. And they heard the voice of TATA and NZAMBE and Fumu walking in the garden in the cool of the day. They heard the voice. Adama and his wife hid themselves from the presence of TATA and NZAMBE and Fumu amongst the trees of the garden. They were shamed that they were naked. And how did they know they was naked? Because they disobeyed the Most High. And when this was before they fell. This is what the Most High constantly did, communed with them continually. This is not a one-off. This is not a one-off. That the times of communication of the Most High from the beginning is based on the time frame of the central location of the continent where he chose to place his name. That's where the garden is. Thank you, Yah. Okay. Last one. 1 Kings 19th chapter, verse 12. And so let me go back up. This is First Kings 19th chapter, verse 12. This is Elijah. Elijah, see it right there, Elijah. I don't want to read all this. This is an encounter with Ahab and Jezebel. So they was killing the prophets of the Most High. And so basically he was communing with the Most High and basically trying to hear from the Most High in a very tumultuous time. Okay. Let me go from here. And the angel of TATA NZAMBE, verse 7, came again the second time and touched him and said, arise and eat, because the journey is too great for thee. And he arose and did eat and drink and went in the strength of that meat 40 days and 40 nights unto Horeb, the mount of Yah. So you know, Horeb and Sinai, they're trying to say it's the same, but why use two different names? I don't get that. But anyway, I think I heard something about there's a Mount Horeb in Africa. I don't know. So anyway, moving on. And he came thither unto the cave and lodged there, cave of treasures, and lodged there. And behold, the word of TATA NZAMBE came to him, and he said unto him, what doest thou here, Elijah? And he said, I have been very jealous of TATA NZAMBE and Fumu of hosts, for the children of Isolale have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thine altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword, and I, even I, only am left, and they seek my life to take it away. And he said, go forth and stand upon the mount before TATA NZAMBE, and behold, TATA NZAMBE passed by, and a great strong wind rent the mountains and break in pieces the rocks before TATA NZAMBE. But TATA NZAMBE was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But TATA NZAMBE was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire. But TATA NZAMBE was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. And it was so when Elijah heard it, the still small voice. When Elijah heard it, the still small voice. When he heard it, the still small voice, that he wrapped his face in his mantle. A mantle is it's a type of garment. It's a particular type of garment. It's like it says like a cape or something wrapped, but I believe it's like what an ancient dress that our ancestors used to wear, or maybe in some cases still do, and went out and stood in the entering of the cave, and behold, there came a voice unto him and said, what doest thou here, Elijah? And he said, I have been very jealous for TATA NZAMBE and Fumu of hosts, because the children of Isolale have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thy altars, and slain slain thy prophets with the sword, and I, even I only am left, and they seek my life to take it away. So this is where he says that there's I have 7,000 that have not bowed down and kissed the image of Baal. All right. So the Most High is never left without a witness. TATA and NZAMBE's never left without a witness. So this is the utmost important part. The still small voice. Many people look for thunder and lightning and clapping and all these different things to hear the voice of the Most High. And this is trying to get us to understand, to get us to focus, to really get us to focus, have our minds in the right frame to hear the voice of TATA and NZAMBE. Because I can count on one hand the times that he spoke to me, and I'm telling you, he spoke to me. I think I talked about this before, where I was driving in Arizona, going from Phoenix to Tucson on the 10, about 80 miles an hour, and had a front end blowout. And because I obeyed my leader at the time, the thundered in my ear. This is because you obeyed. Anybody that knows anything about driving, that you have a front end blowout going 80 miles an hour, that's a problem. Serious problem that an accident is almost inevitable. Going that fast on a front end blowout, you lose all control. The Most High, that wheel stood steady. Just a little rumble like this. Let me stop share. Little rumble like this. And I was able to guide the van. It was a little minivan, a little Chevy Astro, a 2001 Chevy Astro. Was able to guide it over safely. And he thundered in my voice, "This is because you obeyed me." Thundered. Other times he speaks in a still small voice. When he has never, that's one time that I can recount that he thundered in my ear. But the Most High, this is why it's so important for us to not be distracted by all these things that we're surrounded by. I am so grateful to the Almighty that he took the desire of sports away from me, that he let me see the reality of the industrial sports complex. It's all a distraction. Now, sometimes intentional distractions are good, because I like playing games on my phone to decompress, and what Most High is gearing me to turn it off sometimes, at specific times, to focus on him intently, to get a word from him, to study his word, all these different things that I need to do to bring these messages to you, right? I can't be always, plus I gotta maintain the speed on a hamster wheel, if you understand what I mean. But specifically, he's going to speak to you in a still small voice. But if you have all these different focuses going on, that you are so distracted by the things of this life, sports and all I mean, just too many things in this life to rattle off all the distractions that Satan has implemented in this world. We have to learn to be still. My father used to drill this to me. You got to learn to be still sometime to hear the voice of the Most High. Because when you get so busy doing all these different things, you will never, ever hear the voice of the Most High. Why? Because he's coming in a still, small voice for the most part. And rarely will he thunder in your ear. Rarely will he thunder in your ear. To direct you, guide you, to command you, stop doing this, stop doing that. Still small voice. The thing about the coffee was a still small voice. I was asleep, but it was a still small voice. You got to learn it takes time and discernment to learn the voice of the Most High. That we will be well in him and with him, that we will honor him with every fiber of our being. I pray this message would give you enlightenment, give you guidance, direction into the things of the Most High, to eliminate your distractions and cause you to learn in your own life the voice of the Most High. Because he doesn't communicate with everybody the same way, but he's always going to come in a still small voice some kind of way. Some kind of way. The Most High communicates with me several different ways. And it's important for me to not be distracted. That to be still and know his voice. That's why there's so much chaos in this world. The other thing I wanted to mention is that movie, they cloned Tyrone. At first I didn't really want to watch that movie, but I heard something that kind of motivated me to watch it. I'm glad I did watch it. It's a movie that's based upon past, present, and future. What they have done, what they're doing, and what they're going to do. All the things that are stereotypically Black, the things we have done, the things we do, and the things that we're going to do. We have to understand that those things are the stereotypical things that we actually do are spiritually motivated. Spiritually motivated to keep us on the hamster wheel as Black folks, as Banabetu, Bana Esolele, to keep us distracted, to keep us in the rut of this society and these subcultures from region to region, where you live in the East Coast and South and the West Coast and North Coast and all these different places, particularly in the United States. But there's things that transcends your area code. As Black folks, we are the chosen of the Most High, and the enemies, the people that run this world, they know who we are, and they feel this world slipping through their hands, and their time is running out. You see, if you haven't seen that movie, the community comes together at the end and brings down the perpetrators of the evil that has taken place in that movie. It solely comes together and it takes down the perpetrators of wickedness and unrighteousness and abominations. If you haven't watched it, go on Netflix, find a friend that has Netflix, and watch that movie. To TATA and NZAMBE be the glory, all the Kimball, and praise to the ancestors. Hallelujah. May TATA and NZAMBE bless thee and keep thee. May TATA and NZAMBE face smile upon thee and be gracious unto thee. May TATA and NZAMBE lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee salama. Samba salama. Peace.